would like to live in a world where mistakes could easily be erased and the pain they caused diminished. We would especially like to live in a world where we would not have to suffer for the mistakes of others, especially mistakes which we resisted at the time. However, that is not the real world, and we must govern in the real world. Neither was that the reality for those on board the Titanic 100 years ago, where by far the greatest proportion of those who perished were third-class passengers, many of them poor, powerless Irish people in search of a better life. The promise that the bank bailout would be the cheapest in history now seems as ridiculous as the pledge that the Titanic was unsinkable. The bank bailout, and in particular the Anglo-promissory notes, are like a gaping hole in the bow of this state's finances. And like 100 years ago, those who will suffer most if we do not act cautiously and if we do not act responsibly will be the weak and the powerless in society who rely on the services that this state provides. I am proud to support this government's efforts to renegotiate the payment of the promissory notes. And that, I expect, will be a difficult negotiation and perhaps a long negotiation, because that is the nature of multilateral negotiation as opposed to unilateral action. It was the unilateral action of the last government that plunged us into this crisis. Unilateral default now, as some of our critics would support, would make matters far worse, because it would cut off the money supply that we rely upon to fund vital services in our state, to pay those who provide those services, and to maintain a safety net for everyone in society that their humanity demands. Before the last election, we in the Labour Party pledged ourselves to protect those services, to protect the pay of those who provide them, and to maintain a fair welfare state. We also pledged to renegotiate the bank bailout. In government we are doing both, and we should continue to do both. I commend the motion, delegates.